disturbing backstories. I have already made a few of these, so if you have not yet seen them, I will link them down below. So with that, sit back, relax, and let's get started. The death of Vladimir Komarov. When Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov was tapped to pilot the Soyuz 1 mission, slated for April 23rd, 1967, he knew he was doomed. The craft had shown problems during testing, and it was clear that the man put inside it would not come back alive. Although the dangers were clear, no one was willing to back out and risk disappointing the Soviet high command. Even Komarov refused to back out because doing so would have doomed the next pilot in line. Friend and fellow cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. Sure enough, upon re-entry, the craft's parachute failed, and Komarov burned to death as the Soyuz hurtled through the atmosphere at unthinkable speeds. With that, Komarov became the first human to ever die in space flight. Even before his fateful flight, he was so sure that he would die that he asked for an open casket funeral, pictured here, that would force his superiors to see what they'd done to him. To this day, this creepy historical photo of his remains continues to tell his tragic story. Hannelore Schmatz, the skeleton atop Mount Everest. Hannelore Schmatz was the fourth woman in the world to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Tragically, she was also the first woman to die on it. The German mountaineer and her husband embarked on their journey in 1979 with high hopes. But during the descent, after reaching the summit, Schmatz grew weak from the trek and succumbed to exhaustion and the cold. For years after Schmatz died, her body lay frozen on the mountainside, just as she had fallen. Sitting down against her backpack, her hair blowing in the wind, and her eyes wide open. Other climbers who passed her corpse on the trail would say that they could feel her eyes follow them as they walked by. Inside a mental institution in 1900. Few creepy old photos are more disturbing than those captured inside the mental institutions of decades and centuries past. Seen here is one of countless patients being restrained in a French mental institution in 1900. It's unclear what condition this unfortunate patient suffered from. At the time, cases of patients like this one happening behind closed doors. We'll surely never know the extent of the trauma that these people suffered inside the old institutions. The creepy photo taken just before the Dyatlov Pass incident. In February 1959, 9 young Soviet hikers mysteriously died while trekking through the Ural Mountains in what's become known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. While their bodies were found mangled in various gruesome ways, including missing tongues and eyes, no cause of death has ever been determined, with theories ranging from secret government experiments to aliens to the Yeti. This creepy photo shows the determined group traversing the harsh terrain just before they met their fate on the night of February 1st. Even though the Russian government reopened the case in 2019, it remains unsolved. Unit 731. Both before and during World War II, Japan's Biological and Chemical Weapons Division, Unit 731, carried out some of the most grotesque human experiments in history. Determined to master germ warfare and test the limits of human suffering, Unit 731 conducted a wealth of torturous tests on captured Chinese civilians that ranged from purposeful frostbite the infamous Franklin expedition of 1845, the Arctic quest to find the Northwest Passage ended in icy doom. The 134-man crew set out on 2 ships, determined to find the elusive shortcut to Asia and thereby further open up British trade. But soon after departing England in May, they were never seen again. It was only in the 1980s that an anthropologist finally found some of the buried bodies preserved by the cold on an icy island in the Canadian Arctic. Hartnell's twisted expression here makes for one of the creepiest images of seafaring expeditions ever taken. The creepy picture that foreshadowed the Columbine massacre. On April 20th, 1999, the Columbine High School shooting left all of America in shock after teenagers Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold massacred 12 of their classmates and 1 teacher before turning their guns on themselves. In the aftermath, everyone attempted to make sense of how the shooting could have happened, how 2 normal teens could be capable of something like this. Parents, police, and survivors alike searched for clues and retroactive warnings in the pre-shooting behaviors of Harris and Klebold. Perhaps the most chilling artifact uncovered in the wake of the shooting was this glass photo taken a few weeks before the massacre. exposing their hands like guns and pointing them at the camera. The Omagh bombing in Northern Ireland on August 15th, 1998 killed 29 people and injured more than 200 bystanders. Carried out by members of the Real Irish Republican Army. It was the deadliest attack during the 3 decades long conflict known as the Troubles, which pitted those who wanted Northern Ireland to remain unified with Great Britain against those who didn't. Arguably, the most chilling photo taken during the entirety of the Troubles. This image shows a happy father and his carefree son standing next to a car in Omagh that was wired with explosives and about to blow. They both died moments later. The prayer of the doomed Apollo 1 astronauts. Although this photo was taken as a light-hearted gag, the image of the Apollo 1 crew jokingly praying over a miniature of their command module turned deadly serious in retrospect. The 3 men, Roger Chaffee, Virgil Grissom, and Ed White, would burn to death during a test launch on January 27th, 1967. Tragically, the 3 men had even voiced concerns about the craft's amount of flammable materials to Joseph Shea, manager of the Apollo spacecraft program office. They then took this portrait and presented it to Shea shortly before the fatal accident with a caption that read, "It isn't that we don't trust you, Joe, but this time we've decided to go over your head." one of the creepiest vintage pictures of the 20th century. Armstrong Jones, meanwhile, went on to have enormous personal and professional success. His photography captured the imagination of millions, while he himself captured the heart of Princess Margaret and became the first Earl of Snowdon after they married in 1960. The Heaven's Gate cult. Members of the Heaven's Gate cult believed they were destined for another world where they would transcend to the next level in human evolution. When 39 of them killed themselves inside their California home on March 26th, 1997. Indoctrinated by cult leader Marshall Applewhite, who claimed that a spaceship following the Halley-Bopp comet would transport them to a utopian planet. Devotees eagerly followed his instructions. On that fateful day in March, the 39 cultists consumed a mixture of barbiturates and applesauce and washed it down with vodka. Group by group, bags were tied over their heads to ensure asphyxiation. Applewhite himself was the 37th to die. They were found wearing matching Nike sneakers and Heaven's Gate away team armbands a few days later. The prelude to the Jonestown Massacre. Until the September 11th attacks, the Jonestown Massacre was the single greatest deliberate loss of American civilian life in history. People's Temple cult leader Jim Jones convinced his followers that the government was coming to kill them and take their children, and that swallowing a fatal So, on November 18th, 1978, 918 people died at the cult's Jonestown settlement in Guyana after drinking a poison-laced fruit drink. This creepy picture shows Jones and a number of his followers pleasantly enjoying life at Jonestown not long before the massacre. So that is all for today. As always, thank you so